From the studios of Farm Journal Broadcast, this is AgDay.
Putting lessons from 4-H into action.
There's lots of people in our county who need it, and I think it's really important to come out and help.
How a group of students in Tennessee is helping to feed those in need. Cattle prices continue to hit record highs.
The market still is underestimating just how tight the supply is.
How long could the rally last as the pork industry grapples with its own economic roller coaster?
We haven't seen numbers or losses similar to this since probably back in 2012.
We look ahead at the prospects for pork this year, right now on AgDay.
AgDay is brought to you by America's pork producers and the Pork Checkoff. Farming impacts all areas of life and your well-being matters. So here's a reminder to take a break, call a friend, and prioritize your mental health. For more information, visit porkcheckoff.org.
Good morning, I'm Clinton Griffiths. As the World Pork Expo picks up steam in Iowa, we continue to mark Pork Week here on AgDay. And it comes at a time when the industry is facing challenges, especially when it comes to prices right now. AgDay's Michelle Rook joins us. And Michelle, there's been some improvement as of late.
Clinton, the hog market is finally starting to see some relief after several months of lower prices. In fact, from August 2022 until the recent contract lows, that front month lean hog futures contract had lost over $50. And when you add in some of these higher feed costs, that has many producers deep in the red. The pork industry is seeing an economic downturn. Producers like Heidi Vidito and her family recently liquidated about 10% of their 13,500 head sow operation due to the poor market conditions.
Well, the elephant in the room right now is profitability, certainly. And this has been a difficult 6 months, and it doesn't look like the difficulty is done being difficult yet.
Prices aren't as low as the mid-$40 range during the height of the pandemic, but the difference is feed costs and other inputs are much higher.
With falling corn prices, people are quick to say, oh, things have improved, but people's bins have corn in them that wasn't the price that today's market was. So in that regard, we have a little ways to go if it's going to find some equilibrium between feed prices and the price of livestock.
So pork producers are seeing profit margins that are the worst in many years.
The last I saw that this would have been the worst 5-month period for losses in the last 20 years.
I mean, I think you look at profitability and break-evens for for the rest of 2023, and it's easy to get discouraged. It's pretty bleak. I mean, currently profits are anywhere from minus $30 to minus $40 per head.
The downturn is a result of a rebound in the U.S. and Chinese hog herds after disease issues, sluggish domestic demand, and grocers who continue to use pork as a profit center, and now uncertainty with Prop 12.
We've already had a demand problem before it, but Prop 12 really piled onto it here. So what we're seeing out of it is that you're going to see a lot more product get pushed into the United States overall because of this deal, and that kicks off July 2nd.
There are bright spots, though, including a pickup in exports so far this year, and the market is current on both packer and producer-owned pigs.
At the same time, producer weights have plummeted, even held against like the last 5 years, were the lowest at this time of year that we've been in 5 years. So it would suggest that there is a reduced number of pigs coming to market.
We're extremely current in the hog market right now. Weights are incredibly lower than where we've been historically.
Plus, the hog market historically recovers quickly.
We haven't seen numbers or losses similar to this since probably back in 2012, but then we saw record profits in 2014. So I think while it's bleak now, I think it's important for producers to stay optimistic, and that this industry changes very quickly and very rapidly.
So there's hope for better days ahead. I'm Michelle Rook reporting for AgDay.
All right, thanks, Michelle. Happening right now, farmers in Ukraine are assessing the damage after a major dam explosion in the southeastern part of the country. The critical Kakhovka Dam and the hydroelectric power station sits on the Dnieper River. Ukraine accused Russian forces of blowing up the dam, while Russian officials blame Ukrainian bombardment for it in the contested area. Now, its destruction raised anxiety about a potential disruption to global grain supplies, pushing up some prices around the world. Now, there are massive agricultural fields in the southern part of Ukraine where that dam burst. The collapse has endangered crops in the country's breadbasket and threatened drinking water supplies, with officials also warning of a looming environmental disaster, pointing to oil escaping from the dam machinery and significant flooding. Now, it comes amid word that Ukraine's ag output is expected to decline by 36% this year compared to 2021. The estimated cost for the eventual reconstruction of Ukraine's agricultural sector has now reached around $411 billion. More wet weather for the West is in the forecast for today. Meteorologist Matt Engelbrecht has a look ahead.
Yeah, Clint, we'll start off talking about the flooding potential, or at least the rainfall, significant rainfall potential next couple of days. Coming up in just a little bit, we'll take a look at what's going on with the smoke, the wildfire smoke back up into Canada, where that could impact portions of the United States. So as we go through our Thursday and into our Friday, Saturday, what you'll see is the green actually grow from west to east. Now, that's what we want to see when we're talking about bigger systems bringing more widespread rain across the United States. So the potential stays low, 5 to 15, but this is a good indication of a system moving through the jet stream, our atmosphere this weekend, providing some rainfall, some much needed relief through portions of the plains, but also back onto the Midwest and into the deep South. Again, that's a flooding potential going into Sunday. And this is a cool thing to watch. It's a close-up view of water spreading across a newly fertilized rice field. We have Isabel Farms in central Arkansas to thank for it. They've been cultivating rice in the area for more than 70 years. Not 20, not 30, 70 years. I'll have more on your forecast coming up.
Smoke from dozens of wildfires continuing to burn in western Canada. That continues to travel into the U.S. Now, it's been a big issue lately across the New England area, with New York City having the world's worst air pollution of any major city on Tuesday. It issued an air quality alert urging people to stay indoors. Now, could the smoke have an impact on crop production? We put that question to USDA meteorologist Brad Rippey.
The short answer is likely no. Even though there has been some filtering of sunshine, the level of smoke, mostly in the upper levels, although more recently reaching into the lower levels of the atmosphere, has not been high enough to filter enough sunshine to affect the growth of corn and soybeans across the Midwest. Now, we have seen some health advisories starting to pop up in recent days due to that smoke reaching into the lower levels of the atmosphere. Some people are starting to smell or taste smoke in the air, but again, it typically takes a much higher concentration of smoke to affect agriculture.
Rippey adds that the smoke would have to be extremely dense or actually burn through fields in the U.S. before it's a significant concern. A plan to give electric vehicle manufacturers tradable credits under the renewable fuel standard is now on hold. Reuters reporting the plan would have given EV automakers like Tesla credits for charging vehicles using power generated from renewable natural gas or methane collected from sources like cattle or landfills. By putting the plan on hold, nearly 2 billion credits are off the table. EV makers had hoped to generate these credits under the RFS. Now, it would be a significant change to that law that mandates how much biofuel oil refiners must blend into the nation's fuel. Currently, the White House is reviewing a final rule on biofuel blending mandates for the years 2023 through 2025. All right, coming up next, we'll take a closer look at hog markets as the protein sector takes a breather on Wednesday. However, cash cattle remain very strong. Details next. And later, meet some kids stepping up to help feed their community in Tennessee. Summer citizenship in full swing today in the country. Cattle prices turned around at midday as hogs also take a breather on Wednesday. Michelle Rook joins us with a closer look in today's markets now.
Wednesday's market closes were mostly lower except for old crop soybeans. Jeff Hogendorn is joining us with professional ag marketing from the World Pork Expo. And in light of that, let's talk first of all about the pork sector. We did have a nice rebound here in the hogs, Jeff, off the recent contract lows. So let's just talk about that because, you know, do you think that's going to stop some of this liquidation that we've been seeing in the market?
You know, I don't think so. There's still a lot of uncertainty in the hog market right now, Michelle. And, you know, as we talked to different producers, we've been a little frustrated just first of all how much liquidation we've really been able to uncover. There's certainly some data points that are suggesting it's taken place, but I think it's maybe a little slower to start than what we were hoping, but I definitely don't think we've improved the conditions enough to make a significant difference from here going forward. And I would also mention, part of it's on the corn side has been more of our issue almost than the revenue side.
Yeah, and then we also have uncertainty about Prop 12, and obviously we're watching what happens with that in terms of how it's implemented. Is that possible that we haven't gotten all of that digested, and so that may cap any of these rallies here that we have, or at least limit the upside?
Yes, that's definitely going to be a continued factor. That's also one of the major talking points down here in Des Moines this week, is still continues to be Prop 12. And I just think the market probably has what it believes is the right number digested. But from our chair, I think it's going to be very difficult to really understand the effects of that situation and that law until after July 1st, and maybe even closer to as you get further into the fall, in our opinion. Recently the state of California has done some backpedaling, but that's only part of the equation.
Yeah. One positive, though, quick, Jeff, is that we're current in this market, right?
Yes, I think that's absolutely good news. It's been kind of a willing currentness, if you will. Producers have gotten current, and even if you break the weights apart, look at producer-owned weights and packer-owned weights on their own, the packers have also participated in moving some pigs ahead. So, yes, I would agree. We're current. We're probably going to stay that way.
Okay, let's hope for some better days ahead. Jeff Hogan, Dorn with Professional Ag Marketing, and we'll have more Ag Day coming up.
Ag Day is brought to you by Farm Shop MFG. Did you know that 20% of stored corn is often overventilated by 3 points of moisture? On 100,000 bushels, that's a whole semi-load. Stop this problem for less with the End Zone for Corn by Farm Shop MFG. Specially priced at $2,100 per unit while supplies last.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Engelbrecht, and as promised, want to start off with the wildfire smoke and where it could impact portions of the United States. Actually, two really big things that we're going to look at. Obviously, the low pressure system, upper level low that continues to circulate the wildfire smoke over the northeast, extending back into Michigan and Detroit. Now back up towards the northwest, though, remember a few weeks ago there were still some wildfires back up into Canada. That is the smoke that you're seeing here. None of that smoke is coming down because of a ridge of high pressure and the blocking pattern. Everything is caught up in this upper level low that is back off onto the east coast. Now the wind gust forecast will translate with that next system that we're going to be following into next week. We got the chance of some scattered showers and widespread rain Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So that is also what we looked at earlier in regards to not only the rain, but also some stronger wind gusts. Now the jet stream set up on Thursday, no surprise here why that smoke keeps circulating in a counterclockwise fashion, right around that low. As we go forward into the weekend, this is going to continue to meander and work to the northeast, pulling that wildfire smoke with it. And as I mentioned just a little bit ago, the other wildfire smoke, seems like that's all we're talking about, but it is a serious situation up into Canada, is staying up in Canada because of this ridge of high pressure. So this is jet stream on Friday. This pattern, this blocking pattern, officially called an omega block, will start to break down by Saturday and Sunday as that parent low moves off to the northeast. A little bit more energy tracks back down Sunday and into Monday. This is where we start to see those rain chances start to go up through the plains, back out here to the west as well. So again, there's that jet stream going into Sunday. Heading on down to Georgia, mostly sunny, high around 90 degrees, low of 64. We got some PM thunderstorms coming up. Evening thunderstorms, high around 86 degrees in Aurora, low of about 61 degrees. How about Knoxville, Tennessee? No. Knoxville, Iowa, sunny, high around 78.
The cattle markets have made some new records in the last week for both cash and futures. Nearby live and feeder cattle futures hit all-time highs this week, pushed by record cash trade. Last week's 5-area weighted average steer came in at a record 1.03, and cash is on pace to set another record this week as there have been some light trade in the north. Wednesday as high as 190 live and 300 dressed. Packers are short bought and chasing the tight numbers of cattle in the country.
We got a window here in June where I believe we've pulled the June cattle forward. We killed them in May. The market still is underestimating just how tight the supply is. That began with the pull ahead with the high price feed and was exacerbated by the brutal winter.
The cash market has been the leader here, and it's been stronger, and the futures are at this significant discount continue to try to play catch up. But
what will likely stop this rally? Analysts tell us a slowdown in demand. However, there's no evidence of that yet, with choice box beef values above the $320 mark Tuesday, the highest level since September of 2021. A former USDA animal inspector is sentenced after being accused of accepting bribes from Mexican cattle brokers. 69-year-old Roberto Adams of Laredo, Texas, pleaded guilty in April of last year. He was accused of accepting more than $40,000 in bribe payments from Mexican cattle brokers from about March of 2019 to 2021. Investigators say he did it while acting in his official position as a USDA employee. In return, he allowed cattle to enter the U.S. without proper quarantine or inspection. A judge sentenced Adams to serve a total of 57 months in federal prison. He was also ordered to immediately pay $40,000 in fines. All right, up next, good news about the good things 4-H'ers are doing for their communities. We're off to Tennessee, where these kids are pledging their hands to larger service for their community in the country.
AgDay is brought to you by Lamar's Toy Store, the largest and most diversified farm toy store in the U.S. They have new and old and do restorations and customizations too. You need to see it to believe it. Visit lamarstoystore.com or call us at 712-546-4305.
In the Country on AgDay is brought to you by Pivot Bio. What if you had the nitrogen you need already on seed? Pivot Bio is the first company to apply nitrogen on seed. The nitrogen you need, now on seed, from Pivot Bio. Learn more at pivotbio.com.
Tennessee 4-H'ers have an impactful role in towns and counties statewide, giving their time in service projects and learning valuable lessons about community involvement. As Charles Denny of the University of Tennessee tells us, in one area, they help make sure families receive healthy foods.
One by one, the cars line up at the Clay County Fairgrounds, a center of kindness on this day. As each vehicle rolls forward, volunteers are moving with urgency, loading boxes of food. The source is Second Harvest Food Bank in Nashville, with the organization then delivering the donations to Salina, more than 100 miles away. But there's a local push to be part of this too, with UT Extension involved.
The funding comes from around our community. I know there's a few churches that contribute to the funding to bring the semi-truck in full of food for the food drive.
I think there's lots of people in our county who need it, and I think it's really important to come out and help.
Kendall was one of the Clay County 4-H'ers to help with the food distribution. Inside this warehouse, the group fills the boxes, getting everyone a variety of healthy items. Then, by the front door, cars pull up with young families and older adults, all ages. But no matter, it's someone from this community. Many grateful for the kids' work and the food.
I think not only do you better your community, but you learn how to teach others leadership by learning these roles of what they're doing.
The 4-H'ers help with this food drive 3 or 4 times a year. UT Extension leaders say everyone benefits here. The folks who receive these kind donations and the 4-H'ers who learn a valuable lesson.
One of those helpful young people is Erin Meadows. For her, this food distribution is just typical of what she plans to do as an adult volunteer someday. And she encourages other kids to be thinking that way.
And they can get involved early so that when they graduate and they get into the adult world, they can come back and they can donate their time or money or food to this and just help the next generation.
Within a couple of hours, more than 800 people had been helped in this food drive. In a few months, the cars will be back, and so will Second Harvest and more 4-H'ers. Here, caring equates to impact, building a strong connection between these young people and their home community, all from effort. This is Charles Denny reporting.
All right, thanks, Charles, and that's all the time we have this morning. We're sure glad you tuned in. From all of us here at AgDay, I'm Clint Griffiths. Have a great day.